Welcome back to another Theobite. I'm Zach Packey, along with Sean Mustian, who is with us via Zoom this time around as we focus our attention on yet another apparent contradiction, another one via patheos.com. This is the quotation from this website on the 20 most damning Bible contradictions. This is what they start with. Quote, "When is the end?" A 2013 poll found that 41% of U.S. adults think that we're now living in the end times. But ask for the precise date, and the standard response is to point to this verse. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Mark 13:32, see also Matthew 24:36. Harold Camping was hilariously wrong about his prediction of the rapture on May 21st, 2011, and fellow Christians pointed to that verse. But Brother Camping had a comeback with this passage. You know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness, so that this day should surprise you like a thief. You are all children of the light and children of the day. Some people won't know, the children of darkness, but the enlightened ones will know, or not, if Jesus was correctly quoted, end quote. All right, so the question is there a contradiction in Scripture? Did Jesus say that we would not know the day nor the hour? And is Paul saying in that text, which was 1 Thessalonians 5, 1-5, is he saying that that you can know? You aren't in darkness. You know and you can know what day of Christ's return is. You can set dates for the rapture like Harold Camping. And I would start off by saying, first off, Harold Camping is probably the worst person to get your end times view from. He's well known to be not only a divisive figure, but also one who I would argue has led to the shipwreck of many people's faith, many people's finances, many people's hopes and expectations and beliefs, because he's duped a lot of people into getting rid of all their possessions, thinking that Christ was going to return on certain dates. And he died in 2013. But just as you look at the fruit of that person's ministry, this is not a good person to appeal to when it comes to understanding the Scripture. Do not listen to Harold Camping on those things. But I do want to preface this by saying that there is debate on the nature of the coming of Christ. And if you've been tuning in with us at all, Sean and I have been going through our debates on how all these things fit together, the rapture, the second coming. Is there a literal millennial kingdom? Are there anticipated events that happen first and then Jesus returns? Are there other events that are going to happen afterwards? Those things do have their debate within Christian circles, but I think there's one thing that there is not debate upon, and that is the fact that no one does know the day nor the hour. This isn't a debated topic, even between Sean and myself. We both agree that it is an unknown time period, and that is continually reiterated throughout Scripture. So the debate is concerning the nature of Jesus coming. There's no debate when it comes to Orthodox Christians and when that coming is in that reality, that no one knows the day nor the hour. So Harold Camping is not an Orthodox believer. He's a dangerous teacher, and he should be marked and avoided, shipwrecking people's faith. So the New Testament contains multiple statements concerning the unknown nature of the timing of Jesus' coming. This is found throughout Matthew, the text that they quoted, Matthew 24:36, Acts 1:7, possibly Zechariah 14:7, and Revelation 16:5. Those are texts that I would use as a supporting support for the argument, again, that no man knows the day or the hour. It's not for us to know the times or the seasons. It is not something that we can know. But what I really want to hone in on is 1 Thessalonians 5, 1-5. Let's really get into exactly what Paul is saying in 1 Thessalonians 5, 1-5. And I'm going to start by quoting it again. Ready? But concerning the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I should write to you, for you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. You are sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So I wanted to give you the fuller context. Right before that is the great rapture passage of those being caught up together to be in the clouds with the Lord and taken up to him in the air. And we find ourselves with that important statement right at the beginning of chapter 5, verse 1, where he says, the day of the Lord so comes like a thief in the night. And I really want you to get this. I don't know how you can get past that plain statement in the context of Paul's writings in 1 Thessalonians 5 when he said that, because he is identifying exactly what Jesus has already said, already revealed in Matthew 24, 43 through 44. He is hearkening back to what Jesus has already said. Listen to what Jesus said concerning the thief in the night. You ready? This is Matthew 24, 43. But be sure of this, that if the head of the house had known what time of night the thief was coming, he would have been on the alert and would not have allowed his house to be broken into. For this reason, you also must be ready. Listen, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not think he will. End quote. He's talking about the exact same thing. When Paul refers to the day of the Lord, the return of Christ coming like a thief in the night, he is referring to it being something that is unknown. You don't know when a thief is coming. And that text makes that absolutely clear as Paul harkens back to the words of Christ. He's saying nothing different from what Jesus has already said in Matthew 24. The coming of Christ is like a thief in two ways. It will, number one, be unknown, just like he says, but also what we see in verse 2 is that it will be there to bring pain and hardship on the wicked, like a thief coming to steal your possessions. It will be a time of harm against the wicked. And that's what we find in verse 3, that it is an unknown time that produces such devastation upon those who do not know the Lord, which is why Paul says that they're going to be saying peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes, judgment comes fast. And finally, we see verses 4 and 5, we see that the ones who know about this is key. Paul is not saying that these people now know the timing of Jesus' return, but that Scripture has already informed us about what is going to happen, what is actually going to take place. When he says you're not in darkness, you know what's going to take place when that day happens. You know what's going to happen. It's not that you know when, it's that you know what. It's sort of like a tornado warning. If you're on the East Coast or a West Coast, on the West Coast, maybe you don't know what it's like to be in a tornado warning if you're listening from the distance. But if you're a Midwesterner, you know what it's like when a tornado is coming. The sirens go off warning you about it. You don't really know when, so get prepared, get in your basement. Those sirens are really actually just a general warning. They're not telling you at precisely 8:03 on Tuesday, July 14th, your house is going to get taken up by a tornado. The sirens are there as a general warning. It's coming. You don't know when. You don't know what. So be ready. The sons of light are those who have heard the siren and are aware of what is coming, while the unbeliever goes about unaware. That's the point that Paul is making. You, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. You are all sons of light, sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness. You're not unaware. I've just told you. You are not unbelieving as to face the wrath when that day comes. And that's the point Paul's making here, and I want to say this as a bottom line. This is not a text that tells you that you can know the day and the hour of Jesus coming, but it further agrees with the previous statements of Scripture that says that you don't know, so be prepared. And so he says afterwards, therefore, let us not sleep as others do. Let us watch and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night. Those who get drunk at night. But let those who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. Be prepared. The day is coming. Be prepped for it. So let me ask you this by way of closing. Are you taking seriously actually the words of the text? Are you looking at them in their context? And I do want to say this as I close my time by way of encouragement to Christians. These are the sorts of apparent contradictions that non-believers bring out against Christians. I really think that you don't need to be afraid of them. Do not be afraid. I hope that when you hear right from the horse's mouth what they are actually saying about the Scripture, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of those who would stand in enmity against the Lord of Scripture and try to poke holes in what he has said. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sean if he has any things to say.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Man, I appreciate the effort that went into that. I guess I was going to just mention, I don't know if this would be like a humorous note or not, but it's found, I guess, say ironic as you were reading from pathos.com and expressing the objection that was presented there, that they noted that there's parts of Scripture that like very explicitly say no man knows the day or the hour. And then they also mentioned what you just went through extensively from First Thessalonians 5, but namely they wanted to point out what Harold Camping's take was on. And what I find ironic about that is they point to the very teacher that proved the foolishness of that perspective.
Mm,
Like it would be kind of interesting if they were able to like point to a teacher that wasn't so clearly a fool. But the
mm.
very fact that he was like, oh no, 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 we can know these things. We can know these things. He predicts it. His predictions fail.
Yeah.
And like, why would you even look? For me, I'm just kind of puzzled why
Yeah.
you'd even look to Harold Camping to make the defense that the Bible does teach that you can know this, because that was his great failure. He said, oh, we know the time. And guess what? He was wrong. So
Yeah.
just to me, it seems like in a way, I do appreciate what you said, I'm not diminishing it, but it seems that they lost the argument before they even closed the article.
Mm. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, yeah, that's perfect, right? Because he demonstrated himself to be somebody not worthy of trust on this issue by the very thing that they admitted he was wrong. So
Yeah.
it seems to me rather a silly consideration even to take seriously Harold Camping's statements on that issue.
But like I said, I still appreciate your unpacking First Thessalonians 5 for us. But just as you were reading Pathos, I was like, wait a minute, guys, come on, you can do better than that.
Yeah, that's why I said at the end, it's like this is not something to be afraid of. So good. Oh, good. Well, Sean, thanks so much for your commentary, and folks, thanks so much for listening in on this Theobite. We hope you're blessed by these things. Lord bless you. Have a great rest of your day.